Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies. The following program does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff, management, ownership of the station. Jay and Janine are expressing their own opinions, and such is not a substitute for psychological or mental health advice. If you are experiencing an emergency, please hang up and call 911.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show, where we're talking everything personal development, coaching, health, and the law. I'm your host, Jay, here with co-host Janine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Please join us on Facebook, where we can be found at the Momentum Mindset Show. And if you want to call in and be part of the show, we would love to hear from you. It's 888-565-1470. And if being on live radio is not your thing, no problem. Send us your comments and we will interact with you on Facebook.
Let's create some momentum.
Mic's open.
And welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show here on Friday afternoon, the first day of summer. How's it going, everybody? I'm your host, Jay Farrow.
And I am Janine Davis. Happy first day of summer, y'all. It's June 21st, the summer solstice.
And the summer solstice, and summer begins, and we have some breaking news for you today on the show. A couple of pieces of breaking news. Before we get into all that, I just want to settle everybody in, say hello, and it is the first day of summer.
Everybody.
I cannot believe 6 months. It seemed like we just started the show and we were doing the New Year's resolutions and what we're going to create this year.
I know. And now half the year is gone.
Half the year is gone.
It's over.
So the question is, how are we doing?
How are we doing? That's a great question. Well, first of all, we want to invite people to tell us how they're doing.
Yes.
So we want to remind anybody who is listening or anyone who would like to interact with us on Facebook, for those of you brave souls who would like to call, the number is 888-565-1470. We'd love to hear you. And so we're going to do our check-in because, hey, it's Jay and I on the radio.
Before we do that, I want to wish a very, very happy anniversary to our producers, of the Brooklyn Cafe. And they're here in the studio. And
Freddie and Don, congratulations for 3 years of producing shows and bringing content and interest to the world.
And for helping us and supporting us to get to where we're at today, and for putting up with us.
I know. It's,
Entrepreneurship has side effects. I'm going to say that again. Entrepreneurship has its side effects to friends, family, and radio producers. And I just want to say thank you to them and congratulations on their show. I know that they're up to very, very big things right now because they're expanding.
And growing and expanding.
Absolutely. And, well, you want to do like the check-in? Let's do a little, what are we up to? All right.
Let's start with breaking news.
Let's start with breaking news. Do we have I want to get to the level, wait, before we do that, before the breaking news.
Oh,
I want to get to the level where we have that.
Okay, we don't have that yet, so we're going to have to just make it up ourselves.
Okay, well, in a lawyer's career, there are certain days that certainly stand out from others, and this was one of those days.
Yes.
And as for me, I had the opportunity to, with my team, to file the largest lawsuit that I've ever been involved with, the largest actually that I have ever even heard about as far as what this particular thing is. So we have filed this afternoon a $30 million lawsuit against the largest private jet Uber company in the world, FlyVictor.
Yes.
LTD.
It is now public record.
It is now public record.
It is in the Federal Court of the United States in the Southern District of Florida.
In the Southern District of Florida, we're awaiting judge assignment, and this is a huge deal and a huge accomplishment for the firm. It's one of those things that come around maybe once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
But this we're looking to do it more than once in a lifetime.
Oh, heck yeah! We want to make this common practice.
So I want to say that we're going to talk more about this on the Verdict Show because this is part of what we're up to, and so all the things that we're up to. But I want to just for a second let that land. I mean, a federal lawsuit is a big deal. I mean, this is.
It really is.
I mean, we've spent the better part of 8 months preparing, researching.
And
hours and
countless hours.
Working with so many experts around the world, as a matter of fact. We have, and it's attached to the complaint, like 6 of the industry leaders in the online private jet charter business that have written opinion letters. We have a Washington, D.C. Including a journalist, Doug Golan. I want to give you a shout out and for helping us, even though you didn't know that you did it, with some of the information that we have in the complaint. We wanted to say hello to you.
Yeah.
And we want to say that 8 months of preparation and the hours and the time and the meticulous nature that we did to draft. This is one of the most. Actually, I'm more proud of this piece of work than I am about anything else that I've ever filed in court.
Wow.
And I want to thank you. And I want to thank Mira, who
Mira
could be watching or
we doubt it, but thank you, Mira.
One day you
One
might
day
be
she
watching
might
this,
watch us. We don't
Mira.
Mira is our law clerk and soon to be
attorney.
associate attorney.
And I want to say congratulations to her because I know that she put her heart and soul into this, and it really is a beautiful piece of work. The allegations in this are civil racketeering, and it's not just against this company, Fly Victor, which is, like I said, the largest private jet company in the world, and online charter business in its category, and its principles. And so those principles. I mean, here's a guy who doesn't seemingly have anything on paper, Clive Jackson, and crew. I got to say, we did everything we could, like we do to prevent this from happening. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And right now, these companies are in London. This is an international lawsuit. I mean, it basically is going to be going across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yep.
All the defendants are over there, except there's maybe a couple over here, and it's a big deal. We're saying this breaking news on this show, and we're going to definitely talk to you about the Verdict Show, which we have on Monday nights.
Right, which is a very exciting show that we started this past Monday.
Which is basically giving light and a voice to the cases in the justice system that wouldn't otherwise have a voice. Not every single case is going to find CNN, folks, but they all deserve their own version of CNN, because this is what I think is missing in the law is that the talk about what's actually going on in cases in real time, and this is what the Verdict Show is all about. And so this is, I guess, part of our breaking news is that Verdict Show is now going to have a YouTube channel. It's also going to be on Amazon TV and Roku.
That's it.
And
it's on.
It's on.
It's on currently, so we'll get more details
and
be able to share that with everybody
when we go to break, possibly. And so let's take this all in perspective.
It's really crazy
because when we started the show 7 months ago, we didn't have a functional website. I mean, we didn't know actually. Our practice areas were still up in the air. We're still in discovery as far as what area of practice we're actually going to be going into. We did have some of these cases before we decided to niche down to civil racketeering. Financially, that's the other part of the breaking news that we'd like to share today.
We got a very interesting phone call today.
I've been quoting Hamlet a lot lately. You know that? Have you noticed? No?
Yes.
Okay, I've been quoting Hamlet a lot lately. And there's this one quote where it says, the king says, when troubles come, they come not as single spies, but in battalions.
Yes.
Okay, well, flip that around, because when good stuff happens, it's going to happen in battalions as well. And it just happens to be, we filed our first of its kind $30 million lawsuit in federal court today.
Yep.
The law firm does. And at the same time, we got a phone call for a settlement on one of our other cases that it settled some time ago. And
we were not expecting that.
And we were not expecting that.
That was really awesome. And at first, when I got the phone call, and the young person on the other line didn't know really anything about the case other than to confirm banking details. And so I actually thought she was calling on something else. It was very sort of confusing. And then when I started asking better quality questions, I had to put her on hold, do a little bit of a happy dance, scream and squeal with joy, and then compose myself.
And when you say happy dance, when the final payments come in, and they did, and it's like, okay, that's the end of the job. and you look back, and now it's like, wow, look at what was created,
Right.
and the time that was created.
Right, it's closure.
And it's closure, and I
closure.
feel so good for the client. I even feel good for the people on the other side who I have to say, and I'm just gonna.
They got it off their
you know,
books.
we can't obviously give you any details other than what we've just saying.
Right,
that
because
stuff got
unlike
done.
what, and this is an actual opportunity to create the distinction.
Okay.
We can't give you any details about that particular case because that was a privately
Right.
handled pre-suit litigation event. So those people will remain forever anonymous.
Right.
And actually, this is for people who may not know this. This is the benefit of handling before it hits the court system. You can always
and I'll
keep
speak
it
into
private.
that. The people that, and I acknowledge the other side.
Yeah,
because
they were smart.
They took the opportunity for the parties to sit down,
Mm-hmm.
and in an afternoon we resolved the differences between the parties, and then came up with a settlement. And their names were never going to be in any.
Never will
any-
hit the
any
light of
paper.
day.
Whereas now, like I have a this now federal lawsuit against Fly Victor and
Mm-hmm.
crew. Okay, is like now it's forever in the court system.
Right.
And we did everything we did everything we possibly
Oh
could.
my gosh.
To also
you want to talk about
enroll-
denial is not a
enroll-
river in Egypt? They
enroll-
were the
enroll
most
the other side.
denial thick people on the planet.
So going back,
Yeah.
6 months ago, we were sitting here talking about our New Year's resolutions, had no clue what it was going to take. And I remember one of our clients came into us and he said to me, "This is going to be the most painful 3 or 4 months of your life."
He wasn't kidding.
He wasn't kidding.
He really
But he said,
wasn't.
"I believe in you, and I believe in what we're up to and what we're up to creating." And now today, I keep seeing those signs, and I know we're going to go to break in a second. But do you ever see the signs on the highway that says, "This lawyer got me $2.3 million"?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a nice day. We
Yes,
we had a good day.
Yeah. Listen, our office park will be happy to know that we will pay the rent on time. This month. Woohoo! Listen, thank God for small miracles.
I gotta laugh right now because it was. Listen,
I mean,
it was
it's like-
for these two entrepreneurs. I mean, and this is the Momentum Mindset Show, and this is the thing about keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
This is the result of keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
When you have a 6-figure day, I mean, it's like it was a good day.
Right.
Yeah. It's like that's like part and parcel of this. It's like, hey, we kept on going, kept on going, kept on going, kept on going, and here we are.
Yes, amen, and thank God, and hallelujah, and all of that good stuff.
And here's the great news. Tomorrow, we get to pay for what's next.
Right, because there's always, and that's really the
And
tail, right?
on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about exactly this.
Yeah.
What's next after something like this comes up?
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
So let's
Yes.
take a second. If you want to call in, you can call in at 888-565-1470. Don't want to forget.
love to hear
Love
from
to
you.
hear from you, especially today.
Farrell Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrelllawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrell Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show.
Our producers are making a poll of who is more attractive, me or Jay.
Now,
Don't share your opinions with me, I beg of you.
we have to make this a fair poll. I don't know if we could ever do that. I mean, what are the rules?
What are the criteria?
What's the criteria?
What's the criteria?
I don't like to lose.
I know. Oh, jeez.
But I have a feeling I'm going to lose this one.
Oh, please. No.
So we're
no.
talking about...
Actually, I think you've got a
before-
pretty strong female fan base.
before-
It's not going in my favor.
Before the break, that we were talking before the break, that we had a very good win today, and we're already into what's next. And I had the feeling, the moment today, a couple of moments, that it was like, all right, we took a look around. I'm like, this summit looks pretty cool. I had maybe just looked around. I'm like, but that mountain looks like, that much bigger.
Yeah.
And I had the benefit of having lunch with a lawyer today. Awesome guy, Dan. We had an awesome lunch, and we were discussing what's next. And he was talking to me about some cases that may be coming up, and I was like, wow, that's some powerful stuff. And thinking about where this goes from here, because we've been playing this arena for about a year with what we've been up to and really analyzing cases and getting into with the Civil RICO. But I tapped into the work that I was doing before.
Look at your mom's comments.
It's my
We're
mom.
both glowing.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Sonia.
I had the opportunity to support my mom today. They're going through it with the city of Hollywood. Mom, keep going.
Thank God your son's an attorney.
No, but I might be the attorney, but she's she's got a different. This is where I learned the law, huh?
Oh, she's oh.
Oh, okay. So we have a tip for the week.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, now I didn't know if I want to give this away, but I think we have to give it away.
I think we should give it away.
I have to give it away. Okay.
Absolutely, anything beautiful or good that works for you should give it away.
Okay, there was somehow, some way, I had this crazy idea to start writing my name on paper towels and just posting them up in the house.
Jay's very sort of like post-war decoration style.
I just literally, I got out of a black magic marker and I wrote some funny things on some paper towels.
Yep.
Jay win, Jay go, and an exclamation point after my name. Now, this didn't just happen right now. I'll make this clear. This happened back in 2016. I was just like getting out of the hospital and I posted some of these things. This is before I even hit my first transformational personal development seminar. I started putting these signs up. Now, here's the deal. Every so often and now and again, but not all the time, we were posting these signs that said J and then exclamation point. Then you caught on, you say Janine, and then the name of our company, and then we'd put maybe an amount of money that we wanted to collect and something along those lines. Every single time that I put my name on a paper towel, and folks, paper towel, like use 3 or 4 sheets. Okay.
Be generous.
Write your name very, very big and put an exclamation point. Now, we did this starting before we went to go back and coach this transformational seminar a few weeks ago. And we had the best experience there.
Oh my gosh,
since
it was
that
wonderful.
time, since we started putting up those signs, I got my eyesight back. We got the verdict show. We just had a huge financial victory, filed a $30 million lawsuit.
Yeah. And we had some like cash crunches, but we, instead of going into like downward spiral, oh my God, we were just like, all right, let's wait and we know we're going to figure this out. And lo and behold,
I gave this tip to my personal trainer who's been single for some time. She then all of a sudden some guy that she was hanging out with in her gym, they started liking each other, and then she got into a relationship. And that was like 24 hours. I said, you post a sign, something magical is going to happen to you. I can't tell you how this works. I just know that it works. Folks, we've been holding back from you. Everywhere around the house.
At the office.
Everywhere. Just your name and an exclamation point.
Yeah, I'll show you pictures. It's interesting.
Okay. I have pictures.
Oh, you do?
Of course.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, right. Nothing is sacred. Wait, is this what public life is about?
I have the pictures. I have the pictures on my phone. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been doing this off and on for some time. Every single time you post those it's got to be paper towels. I don't know what it is.
It's true. Paper does not work the same. Regular paper does not work the
prefers
same.
Paper towels. I don't know what to do, folks. But I'm just telling you that it works. Now, I'm not saying that me going to yoga doesn't like part of this, or me going to my therapy people, or
maybe also you getting some quality sleep also has improved the quality of life.
Oh my gosh!
For you and for me.
There's so much stuff that's come up in the last couple of weeks that I started to recognize. I'm like, wait a second, I was working out too much. I think 4 hours in the gym a day was a little bit too much with 4 hours of sleep. Because guess what? That's like a chemical that you're putting in your body. Stop it.
Wait.
It's true. All right.
I know that. I've been trying to tell you, but you gotta figure it out by yourself. You've got to come to that conclusion on your own.
So there's been balance.
Yes. Amen.
Balance.
Yeah.
We added joy, and I'll tell you what I really added.
We have added joy, Jay Farrow.
I added
chin to that.
I added trust and patience.
Oh, Beth, look, she says that she can hear the joy in our voices. Aw,
I
love
love
you,
I
Beth.
love Beth.
I know,
yeah.
she's amazing.
We have really added balance.
Yeah.
I've added patience and trust. I know that those are two things for me that were huge. And I'm not talking trust in myself. Trust in that I can handle whatever comes up. Because I'm going to be very vulnerable. I mean, this lawsuit alone, you're going to come up with a million questions. I shared this lawsuit with I don't know how many lawyers. A lot of them who knew me, like they read it, they're like, "You're good," you know. And I do check my work with other lawyers. But other people were like, "Are you like?" Sometimes people asked me if I was afraid for my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you talking about? You watch too many movies." There was some conversations about, that's too pie in the sky. But is
Right.
it? You know what's the difference?
Why? People said that to people like Walt Disney. People said that to anybody who dares to do anything different. It's always pie in the sky. In fact, actually, I was sharing with Jay. I love my dad, my English grumpy cat dad. He's 78 years old, and he's a product of the war. He was born in 1940. Literally, he had to be taken out of Liverpool and taken to safety in the countryside. So he has a really interesting sort of outlook. And I thought today, I want to call my family and tell them about this lawsuit. But if I called my dad, he'd be like, "Oh, that's you and Jay," So I was like, so I told my mom, she's in heaven, and she was like, "Yay!" So there are some people. So I knew he wasn't the person to call for that necessarily. Yeah, but it's interesting. It's
And
good.
now is the time to like, what's next?
Yeah, what is next? So Jay and I are constantly thinking that. So we're going to take the weekend to process everything, and decompress and take it all in. But I think in entrepreneur mode, you celebrate, and you've always got your eye on the next thing. Not necessarily the dollar sign. It's not about that. It's about what else do you have in your roster? How many more people can you serve? When you were talking to me about your meeting with this attorney this morning, what came to me was, they're really big cases, and how exciting to be able to serve all of those people who are being shafted. So, it's a really interesting thing, and that's really what it becomes about.
And I have to acknowledge this lawyer's energy was like, I said to him in a text that we're cut from the same cloth because he's very passionate. And it takes passion to do this work.
Yeah.
It takes passion to want to take this on.
And a lot of grit.
Because those lawyers that told me, like, are you crazy, or are you afraid for your health or for whatever reason they were saying, aren't you afraid? Afraid of what?
Right.
And it's the question really is, why aren't you staying safe? Why? What is it about just doing the regular stuff, the low hanging fruit work that I'm like no, and I want to speak into that part about that.
And it's okay, but it's not for everybody. It's not for
cruise
you. It's not.
So I went on Father's Day, which by the way, you want to talk about the signs? I'm going to give acknowledgement to my father. We had the best Father's Day ever.
He's
I
a
went out fishing
sweetheart.
with my father, my brother, and my nephew. And I'm going to tell you that we hit a level of connection, and there was love, and it was just such a free-flowing, awesome guy's day. My 7-year-old nephew's like, this is a guy's night out. And it was like, where does kids come up to say these things? But I was at Port Everglades, and we were traveling past one of the cruise ships, and I was looking at the cruise ship. My brother's like, we want to go to a cruise. I'm like, nah. I'm like, because I was looking at this rusty ship, and I was like, it was not that rusty, but it looked, why? It's like gambling, drinking, or sliding down a water slide on one of the water slides into a pool in the middle of a cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I didn't get it. And I think at that moment, it started hitting me that I'm not the 9 to 5, 2 weeks off a year, be grateful for it, and then go do a tourist thing. And this hit me at Disney World, too. It's like you get this time off, and then you basically go to Disney World for this land of fun, and you're spending 90 minutes in line for a ride in the heat with other people, and there's babies, and they're crying. It's like,
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
but I'm saying is
Right,
that-
it's not your bag.
I would love to go there. If and when I have kids, I'd love to take kids to Disney. I'm not saying that. But,
Right, no, I get
but
that.
when I looked at this cruise ship, it looked like a box that happens to float. a box that other people use, and it's like, okay, this is designed to do this. You have X, Y, and Z, and this is what looks like fun. And I recognize that as an entrepreneur, I'm looking for a little bit different. And the little bit different is the experience that I have on a daily basis in my life. From the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to sleep, I'm asking myself, how can I experience more enjoyment? How can I experience more life? How can I experience more of courage? And the result of those questions is more life, more experience.
More life. Amen. Yes. Yeah.
I had to say a thing about the cruise ship. I don't know why. If you want to be a part of the show, we're it's 888-565-1470. I want to acknowledge one of our listeners who I speak to regularly, Kim.
Yes.
I think she sent me a gift today for an early birthday present. I'm going to plug
So
my birthday
kind.
shamelessly. It's coming up on July the 7th.
I was going to say, it's not soon, people. I mean, it's kind of soon, but it's not like this week.
July 1st through the 31st.
Oh,
It's the whole month of July. The only person I get in trouble with is Denny's, because after like a certain amount of time you go to the same one, they won't give you the free dessert. They'll kick you out. Just saying.
All Denny's, be aware of this guy.
So we got to we were thinking about today what does come next, and we started to look at what we have, and then we looked at, all right, how do we add to our website? What do we need? What are we looking to do to create the next iteration, the next form, the next case, the next piece of business? And now we're really getting into the nuts and bolts of our Momentum show.
Yes.
Okay.
And our Momentum program.
Right.
And all of the love and energy and creativity and work that goes into that, because we aren't quite finished with it. We still have some work to put into it, and it's really exciting. It's really exciting, and it takes time.
It does take time.
And effort
And we're going to take
to
one
create that.
quick break, and then on the other side of the break, I got a surprise.
Oh, God.
All right, we'll be right back.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
And welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show.
Welcome back.
First day of summer. It's been a big one for us. To recap, we filed our first
multi-million
dollar federal lawsuit today in court, and also finished a settlement today. Also, celebrating the first day of summer. When I was talking about like the surprise, I mean, I decided my things that I wanted to finish to take myself on. That's been like lurking in the back of my head. Okay. And this is the thing, like I have not. This is the thing I started back in 2009, and I just stopped doing it because and this is the part of the show I really wanted to focus on. Okay, all that stuff is well and good, the win. Now, what's next is also looking into. I went into my closet today, and I saw a box that's been there for months and months and months and months.
Okay.
And in the box is my pilot certificate books. Okay. But it reminds me of all of the things, okay, that I have put on my shelf and have not gone back to, not because I don't have time. It's because I know I got to the point of the lesson where it became hard. And that's my MO. And I want to talk about this because it's so important.
That's so important.
Because I can shine very easily, and I can get lost in the light. And if I get lost in the light, then I like to forget about the stuff that I really should be working on. I want to master something. I want to learn something.
Yeah.
I want to really become good about it.
Yep.
And the law, flying an airplane, playing the piano, anything that you're doing in your life, it's the fundamentals that you practice on a daily basis that I get to add in my life. Because
Right.
it's always been easy for me to do the things that shine.
Mm-hmm.
and not be in a position of actually mastering and to be completely vulnerable. One of the things that bothers me the most about my life, if I were to actually dig deep, is how I play the piano. And it's because I learned how to play the piano by ear, and I was not like able to play the piano in with like reading music. Not to say that it was a coordination thing, and I always told myself it was a coordination thing, or it was an eyesight thing. It really was a Jay didn't want to practice thing. Jay wanted to do.
No truer words have ever been
Jay
spoken.
wanted
That's
to do
true.
what came easy, okay? And if I always going to do what came easy, I'm going to know in my heart that something's missing from the experience.
Yeah.
In other words, not necessarily like. I heard something the other day. It's called
Honey.
imposter syndrome. Have you heard this?
Yes, of course.
Okay, it's like when
It's
you.
big with coaches,
when you-
actually. It's big in personal development.
What does that mean? It's like big in.
Well, what I say is that, imposter syndrome is people, or I say big with coaches because we talk about vulnerabilities and realms and when you're stepping in and transitioning into a greater stage, you're taking more on. There's a part of you that feels like, oh my God, I'm a fraud. They're going to find me out. Like I shouldn't be here. And that's the imposter syndrome. Even though the truth is that you're only ever going to earn your place at the table when you take that first step. And you don't get to that table being perfect.
Why does this come up with coaches though?
Because we're always talking about authenticity and the self-limiting conversations and things like that. So I'm not saying that coaches experience
talking about life
exclusively.
coaches?
Yeah. I'm not saying that life coaches experience imposter syndrome necessarily, but I'm saying that it's a hot topic in what we discuss with one another because we go through it to a certain extent, and so do our coachees.
Because I decided to take myself on because I'm feeling a little bit about the imposter syndrome.
Okay, so
because
tell us about it.
Okay, the fundamentals of playing the piano, the actual scales, the musical theory behind it. Okay, that the things that were in those books that I just was like, I'll do this part, but not that part. That's been a big
That's the
part of my
J-way.
life.
Yeah.
And in order for me to truly create what I want to create in my life, I know I got to go back and learn the fundamentals. And when I say that I want to go back and learn how to learn to fly the airplane, and I want to learn how to play the piano, it's because there's an internal knowing and an intuition that, you know what, it's time. I'm a big fan of this epic movie, and I don't know if it was up for any awards. It should have
movie?
been Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Ouch.
So I don't know if it's been.
Oh, you mean the Academy Award?
Academy Award winning Bill
and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
And if you know the
That's
movie,
hilarious.
if you know the movie, and you own the video, you should.
Good God.
Basically, every single tenant in life, you can learn by watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That and Ghostbusters, but I'm just going to stick with Bill and Ted right now. So
Never mind things like the Bible and stuff like that.
there's a one scene where these guys they have this time machine, so you can go and do all kinds of things, go anywhere they want to go,
Okay.
and they go onto this stage and they're ready to perform, and somehow, some way that the audience is expecting them to jam out, and they look at each other and they recognize we don't know how to play the guitar, like. Dude,
That's awesome.
we don't know how to play the guitar.
Okay.
So you know what they do?
Because I got to confess, I've never
You
seen
know what they
it.
do?
What?
They go back in time because they got a time machine. And they go back and they learn how to play the guitar. They come back with their girlfriends, and they come back and they're married. The girlfriends that were the princesses that they got back from the 1400s. This movie completely defied all the laws of the space-time continuum that would have been brought up in Back to the Future. I'm saying in this particular movie, they went back in time with their girlfriends. They came back with babies on their back. But then what they did was they played. And they played this song, God Gave Rock and Roll to You by, I think it was Kiss. Mm-hmm. Flawlessly. And I got to thinking about that. Like I said, you can learn everything that you need to know about life from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So
We've got to get this to them because I don't think they realize how incredibly influential and impactful this film has been to the life of a young man.
So I was thinking about that today as we're celebrating the wins, and then something inside me says, Jay, it's like knock, like, hey, why don't you think about going back and actually learning something about yourself?
I love that. That is so awesome.
Because it's so easy the fireworks are easy. Making the fireworks is difficult. Watching the fireworks show, experiencing the fireworks show, that's the fun part. But the hours and the days
Yep.
and the preparation and all those safety stuff that you go through.
Yeah.
I'm talking about actually learning how to do things with integrity for myself. And that starts as little with playing the scales on a piano. Learning how to fly the airplane. It was easy to take off, and for me, it was easy to land the plane. What's not easy about it is keeping, when you go up in the air and you're going in the
Keeping
Everglades,
level.
you actually have to keep level between 100 feet off the ground. You're at about 1,500 feet, and you have to stay within 100 feet. So you can't go up above 1,600 feet and below 1,500 feet, and you have to make an S turn. And then you have to make a figure 8 turn. And so those turns, and all of a sudden the instructor says, "Oh, no, you're done. You just failed. You failed your test." Because if I was the FAA instructor sitting right next to you, you're not going to pass the test.
Wow.
And most of the time that you're actually learning to play, when you're learning to fly a plane, you know what you're doing?
Autocorrecting.
No,
What?
you're dropping the plane out of the sky. You're basically, what you're doing is
Wow.
90%
That makes me feel very safe.
90% of learning how to fly an airplane is going to 2,500 feet and doing what's called a power on stall and a power off stall. It's basically crashing the airplane in the middle of the air. That's what you're learning when you're flying a plane, for two reasons. One, on takeoff, if you stall, you need to learn how to correct the stall. So if you're
Okay,
at,
okay,
you're
makes
taking
sense.
off and you're like at 400 feet, you have to learn how to correct the stall. Otherwise, the plane's going to crash.
Yeah.
Because if you stall the plane, and it's so metaphorical to life, if you stall the plane, the reason why you stalled it is because your attitude's incorrect. And I'm not saying that word incorrectly.
That is. I
If
heard
you take,
That's so
if
true.
if you're taking off in an airplane, and your attitude is incorrect, you will stall and you will die.
Just like life.
Exactly. So when you're learning how to fly a plane, you're learning up in the air about how to approach something with the right attitude, and learning how to correct if you do fall out of the sky. If you have a bad attitude, how to survive. Now
Right.
it's a lot less scary when you're up there, but if you're you basically though have to take it at an angle to put the airplane up at such an angle that it falls out of the sky, literally falls out of the sky, and then you have to just dip and correct it.
Right.
It's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
But I stopped because that was boring. Okay?
Yeah.
And because I don't like doing boring stuff.
Yeah.
Give me the fireworks any single day. I don't want to be boring.
Yep.
I don't want to be bored.
Right.
So what do? Go back and learn the fundamentals. And I think this
Yeah, it's
part
really
of this is
important.
really the part of the journey where it's like I can see that I have space and time to be able to go back
Right.
and pick a couple of things that I want to do to work
Yeah.
at.
Well, it's interesting because, bizarre, you and I spend a lot of time together and we talk a lot. And it apparently, seemingly, we share some thoughts because, and I had no idea what was going on today, but I had seen one of the sopranos who sings in our choir. I'd seen her on social media.
Right.
And I had talked to her before about doing voice lessons with her because she lives close to me and the whole thing. And I love the way she sings. And one day, I vow to sing like her. And one of the things that I know about being a singer is that I don't know how to read music. And
This is what I'm talking about.
this does not support me because I can see the notes moving on the scale, and so I progressively go higher and higher, but I don't really know how to identify the pitch on the scale because I don't really know what I'm looking at, right? So I don't know the difference between a C and an E and a D. I don't know. It's something.
Right.
I get it. And my ear, thank God, is so good that if someone sings it, I can hit it.
Got it.
I can match it. That's always been good enough for me. But similar to you, it's not good enough for me, actually. I want to know what I'm
Because
looking at.
you know in your heart.
Because I know in my heart that as good as I could be, why should I stop at good when I could actually maybe touch great?
Right.
I mean, not like soprano herself, because she's a trained singer and she's been doing it forever. But I mean, I could at least, I don't know.
I would
do
venture to bet
something. So-
if you were to learn how to read music, and I would go back to the fundamentals, like the rest of the law firm, the verdict show, the momentum, everything will increase exponentially.
I think so too. And again, I didn't know that you were having that thought. I had that thought just today myself, and actually, I've been thinking about it intermittently. I thought of her for
It's
a
actually
lot
one-
of
it's
different
the biggest
things.
thought. It's the biggest thought, the recurring thought that I have is that I'm like I know that I'm faking it. I know that, or I knew that internally that I'm just not practicing the fundamentals. Even if I were to go back and just practice the fundamentals, or spend the time doing the stuff that is required of learning how to turn the plane and correct the attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the things,
that's
those
huge.
little
Just
things,
like life.
and they're not hard. These things are
They're just,
not,
but they're
hard.
repetitive, and that's what makes them boring.
But these are the things, the very things in life that get us stuck,
Yep.
have us stop, and then have us fail. I'll venture to say it's never the big stuff. Like, I'll be honest, like filing this lawsuit today and everything was exciting, but it was easy. Pressing the button and saying,
Yeah.
okay, I'm filing it. You know, going back and actually sitting down and playing the scales and going through that, it would actually I'm bored. And I
Right.
don't want to do it. I'm
Right.
just saying it out loud right now because the next level for us exists in the fundamentals.
Yeah, it's true. For me, I don't feel that I'm a fake singer necessarily because I don't know how to read music. I think for a long time I told myself, "Wow, I'm so lucky. What a great year I must have." You know, I told myself a nonsense story. What's driving me now, though, is the curiosity to know how little am I, like, what am I cheating myself? I'm curious, not from like a bad and wrong place, but like actual joyful curiosity of like, well, you know, I'm a singer at this level. I'm right.
Right.
What if I could read music? How much more powerful could I be because I would have the confidence to actually get a piece of music, know where I need to be, and actually really attack it with some
love it.
confidence. And so it's really a question of curiosity and just being in that, I don't know, that discovery of like, wow, okay, what's next? Because we talked about like aging and all that stuff. For me, this is like nonsense. I don't care. I'm like, forever young and forever curious and forever growing and forever seeing what's next.
I gotta say that I'm really proud of the work that we do on the show. You know, sometimes I'm like listening to you and I'm listening to what we're doing here, and there's some thoughts. I'm like, what is this show? What are we really doing? And I was talking to Janine, my personal trainer, the other Janine,
The other Janine.
the other night, and I said, if we were to put all these shows together, and actually just do like those little clips like we do. Like
The montages.
The montage about
Yeah.
what happened on this day, what happened on this day, what happened
Yeah.
on this day. We have really been documenting our journey.
Yes.
Like without really recognizing how profound that's been. And as we sit here, actually, this is like we climbed a mountain, right? We climbed the mountain that we thought that we were going to climb for particularly this filing of this case.
Yeah.
We're looking upon the ledge and we're looking at the life and it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We're asking ourselves what next. And I love how you put this. We're not asking what's next because where we are isn't enough. And I want to say this again because it's
Right.
important. I'm not saying that I want to start climbing again because where we are is not enough. It is more than enough.
Yes.
I am
I'm so
completely
grateful.
content and
It's
feel
amazing.
complete in my soul about I love who I am right now. Would not change who I am right now for any human being on the planet.
Right.
I am saying though there are other people to serve. There
Yes.
are other mountains out there.
Yeah.
There are other experiences to have.
Yeah.
And each moment is a new moment to go out and decide, okay, this is great. And what would that feel like? What would that feel like?
Yeah.
This is why I don't like standing in line for, feeling for the next experience. I mean, I
Right.
want to know what's coming up next
Yeah.
for us. I mean,
Well, I think we're stepping into more life.
right.
Just because you reach a certain level, you're at the end of this road doesn't mean you don't take more roads and more road trips.
And
It doesn't mean you've arrived to that thing and you stop. No, you keep going. And that's really the tenet of what our show is about. No matter what comes up, no matter what speed bumps you hit.
And for the people that have been listening to us for the last couple months, we did from exactly where we were that day, whatever came up, whatever it was, if we're going through it between us or whatever have you, because
and
we want to
we
create.
can go there too.
I
yeah.
wanted to. My vision for the show is to create a safe space, a place where people can listen and say, you know what, me too. Oh wow, yeah, I resonate with that. And I've heard this over and over from the people I've spoken to. It's like, oh yeah, I went through that this week.
Yep.
Oh, I know what that feels like. I know that imposter syndrome. I know what that's about. You guys make it. I'm glad that you guys talk about it because it makes me feel like I have a partner in going through whatever I'm going through. Because usually we touch on a bunch of stuff,
Yeah,
and a
we
lot
do.
of it's not easy. Especially we're talking about this stuff on the air.
No.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to disclose like how I truly feel inside. Like, oh, I'm missing something like with these fundamentals, or that for a number of months we didn't pay our rent for 3 months. I mean, how does that feel? It's like, hey,
No,
we're
it feels-
telling
for
the
the
entire
record,
world that
it
these.
feels. It feels terrible, absolutely terrible. I don't recommend it. I don't know how like professional non-bill payers live with themselves. And there are people out there who professionally don't pay their bills, but
And then go
I'm
on
not
the-
one of them.
We weren't professional at it, but we did go on the radio to tell everybody about it. So.
Yeah, it stinks.
I'm just acknowledging you. I'm acknowledging what we're up
Thank
to,
you.
and from
I-
the
yeah,
feedback
no,
that
it's
I've heard, it's like I said that me too. That I get it. I know what you guys are going through, and for the entrepreneurs out there or the people that are just living life, we are.
Someone's watching us from
someone's watching
Kenya.
from Kenya. We had somebody
you.
watching us, and I'm
you.
glad this just happened. We have someone watching us from Kenya. Had somebody watching us from Glennie in
In
Washington.
yeah.
We have people that have
In the
come in
Pacific
from
Northwest,
the
yeah.
Netherlands, Dominican Republic.
Yes.
From
Mildred from Dominican
I know
Republic.
from the Philippines.
Yes.
And it's like
Mahal kita, Philippines.
right. On the other side of this break, we're going to wrap up with really what's coming up this week because we have an exciting week. We have a new show we want to talk about a little bit. There
Verdict
are
TV.
going to be plans.
Yes, and please, guys, don't forget us. 888-565-1470.
Even you, Mom. You go
Holla.
ahead and call in.
Holla at us.
Farrow Law Firm.
By the way, the movie you were citing was not Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It was the sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
Welcome back one more time to the Momentum Mindset Show.
We are back with you now.
We
on
have a
this
first
Friday afternoon.
we have a first official correction, and I want to do this because it's important. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was actually the first in the series, and then it was Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. That was the next iteration
that
of the show.
changed the world.
That changed the world
for some.
and my life for certain. And I just wanted to say thank you to one of your guys,
That's right, Mr. Keanu Reeves.
Mr. Keanu Reeves.
Changing lives.
By the
one
way-
movie at a time.
That John Wick series is I gotta say. Was
Yo,
really
that
good.
was super inspirational.
Thank you for that too.
Thank you for that too. Because
We do have one of our friends out in Los Angeles who has watched the show, who's the brother of our friend Elle.
Yes.
So this show has gone international.
Robert Watkins.
and all over the United States.
Yes.
You know, and I get this on my Facebook posts. It's like, and I ran into some people lately. They're like, I've been following you, and I really appreciate that. And I'm like, I don't know who you, but they have. And
It's beautiful. It's beautiful that people
and I hope that
acknowledge
this is
the journey and the
inspiring
development.
people to do the same because we're all in this together. When I always say we are stronger together. Your thing is keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have decided that the next part of our entrepreneurial journey is to create this television program
called
The Verdict.
TV.
The Verdict TV is a show all about highlighting cases in the justice system with bringing on local lawyers to talk about their cases
and to explain the law. To explain the law to a layperson.
and to illuminate why litigation doesn't work, to show how a lawyer's addiction to the billable hour contributes to the disaster of the legal system, and
the disaster of the lives of the attorneys themselves.
the disaster of the lives of the attorneys.
And an
You know what,
adversarial
on that
relationship
point,
with the client,
I
which
want-
is ultimately
I
not
wanna-
a huge disservice to everybody.
I want to say this. The work that I do in the law supports everybody on both sides. I say that all the time.
we really do
But
consider the other side.
I know my
Absolutely.
first 5 years out of law school were hell. My first 5 years out of law school and working for large law firms and a smaller one where I was averaging 2,300 hours billed a year. Now, to put that in perspective, that's 45-ish billed a week. Now, that means that you're in the office for about 90 hours a week or 80 hours a week, because for every hour that you bill, there's an hour that you just can't bill. And I know that my life and the way that I took on the stress and everything else led and contributed to where I was on November of 2016.
Yeah.
So if I can support a better way for lawyers to practice law in
Yeah.
a way that's urgent, that also looks at what's possible, that looks for solutions and not for delay, that's what I'm up to. And that's just what,
Absolutely.
on this show especially, we can talk about the health of the lawyer is one of my most passionate, I want to say causes, but it's one of my most passionate desires to support a lawyer's
absolutely.
health.
Absolutely.
And litigation does not support lawyers'
Thank you,
health.
Lenny. We are stronger together. Just want to say
Hey, Lenny. Oh, awesome. That's what I wanted to throw out there because
it is true. It supports everybody, the attorney's health. It supports the relationship between client and attorney. It supports. It also opens the door to other ways of resolving conflict.
So I think that the verdict showed by illuminating how dysfunctional litigation is and actually going through the claims of a case and saying,
And explaining it.
And explaining it. And I'm thinking like this. We're going to give both sides the opportunity to come on the show.
Yes, we want to invite the opposing side
Right.
onto the show.
And not just for my cases, but for other lawyers' cases
Yeah.
too. Maybe
We'd be
we
ready
can
to
create a conversation that wouldn't otherwise exist.
Right.
Because I mean, and people are like, well, you can't do that. This is what I've heard. Oh, you can't do that because you're going to give away something in the case. You give some, you're not that smart. Forget about it. Just get on the show and let's have it out. This is a ring. Jump in the ring. I mean, bring your best game. Talk it out. See what you could do. See if you can handle it. I might have a mediator in the show. Let's
Yeah.
mediate it right here and now. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Because
the fact that either side thinks they're right doesn't make anybody special.
Right.
Everybody thinks they're right. This is not special at
no
all.
points for being right.
Right. So
Did you say right for being right?
getting past that, moving past that is really the game changer. Because people love to stick their heels in the sand. Jay,
Yeah.
we had a thing today.
We did have a thing today.
We had a thing today.
We had a thing today.
We had a thing
Because-
today.
yeah.
It doesn't even really matter why, other than we both felt passionately right about it.
But I went right to my defensive corner. You went to right defensive corner. And we went out and we swung it out for about like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it took us like a good hour and a half, 2 hours to be like, "Rrr, wah, wah."
Well, it took me
And-
half an hour to translate two of the words that you said because I don't think I've heard cursing on that level before. But I mean,
You're welcome. I am here to educate. And
But
no,
we go through it.
yeah, we go through it. And so we know that thinking that we're right is really not special at all. So we also get to, we know what it's like. We're not pretending that we don't go through it and that we're somehow above it all. No. Because we go through it, because we're willing to go through it, and also willing to create a space in which we're safe enough to discuss it, and safe enough to move past it, and safe enough to learn through it. I think that's really the
All
distinction.
right, and now we're going to come to the portion of the show. What's next for our listeners and viewers? Okay, because for next week there's a challenge out. Because this is the last show. We're going to
okay.
have some callers next week. Okay, I'm putting the challenge out now because I know that a lot of people are listening. I announced some breaking news before the show, so we announced that. But the phone number here is 888-565-1470. Now we're going to be posting this out through the week. Okay, and we are going to have. And I'm going to declare this right now. 3 callers next week. Okay, and we're going to take questions about what
like
we're
it.
up to.
About what they're up to.
and
Maybe
what
they
they're-
have questions for us.
And that's it. And here's
yes. Thank
you know what?
you.
I'm gonna
Dawn.
Here's
That's what we're doing.
Here's what I want
Dawn
you to
is
do.
one of our
I want
producers.
anybody who's listening right now to take a sheet of paper towels and take 3 or 4. Don't be stingy. I mean, get a big black magic marker and write your name and do an exclamation point. And then I want to hear from you. What showed up in the last week?
Bounty's on the line.
Bounty. Holler at your girl.
I
Yeah,
want to hear
exactly.
next week what showed up. What good things showed up in your life after you wrote your name on a paper towel, put it in someplace in your house that you can
Right.
see
Right.
that the people in the white coats are going to take you away. I mean,
Well, it's interesting because we had people in our office this week, and I looked at the signs and I was like, "Oh God, I don't want people to see." And then it was like, "Why not?
This is how we live our life.
This is what we're about."
I
And
mean,
if if it
if
doesn't
if
agree
a paper
with you,
towel
like,
too makes you a little bit of extra money or gets you into a relationship or has things happen. Because here's what the big thing about the paper towels. And I know we're going to be out of here in a second, but we were not supposed to get this settlement today. The settlement
oh
was
yeah,
supposed to
this
happen
is a
in
big
August,
thing. It was supposed to come in
later than that.
August.
And somehow, some way, we got the call today because Janine put up a sign this morning and it said something beautiful, and she did a great job on it, and I was like, wow. And then this happened. So
I did it.
I
I
want to
did
hear
it.
next week.
Janine, big
anybody
win.
that puts up these signs. This is the Momentum Mindset Show, and some of this is woo woo. I don't know why it works. Maybe because when you tell the universe, something like you write your name, you put an exclamation point, and it's all of a sudden it shows up. Life shows up. Good things show up.
Right.
I want to hear about it. Enjoy your week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for listening to the Momentum Mindset Show. For your hosts, Jay and Janine, we'll see you here next week. Thank you for being real, authentic, and honest.
If you'd like to reach us, please contact us on our Facebook page, The Momentum Mindset Show, or on our office phone line, which is 954-559-6987.
We are stronger together.
And remember, keep going.